Booktube, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about why we buy books, or more specifically why I buy books, because I don't know why you buy them, but I'm hoping that you will tell me. Sure, there are a lot of places that you can buy books. You could go online to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or any of the hundreds of sites where you can buy books online, whether brand new or used. There are major brick and mortar stores that you can go to buy books. Again, Barnes & Noble, Borders, Strand, your local independent bookshop, specialty bookstores. There are tons of places where you can buy books. But just a few weeks ago, we did the Borrow-thon, Readathon, which focused on reading books that you hadn't bought, books that you had borrowed from somewhere. And so one of the places that I source a lot of the books that I read is from my local library. I live in New York City, and I've had a library card almost as long as I've lived here. I go to the library pretty often. My library card allows me to check out up to 50 items at a time. Yes, I know. And sometimes I do take advantage of it. I take as many books as I have found, and I take them home and I sift through them and I decide what I want to read, what I don't want to read anymore, and what I have read that I like so much that I want to own my own copy. And so that kind of inspired this post. What are some of the reasons that even though you could get books for free, why do you still go out and buy them? I'm a firm believer in the idea that what you've done in the past is a good indication of what you will do in the future. It's an indication of your tendencies and your inclinations. So the reasons that I have bought books in the recent past would probably be the reasons why I'd buy another book if I went to the bookstore today, which I might be going to the bookstore today. In looking at some of the books that I bought recently, I've put them into categories and I have found 10 reasons that I buy books. And I don't know, maybe you will see yourself in some of these reasons. Reason number 10 for buying a book is I go to the thrift store and I see a book that is pretty cheap. The cover is beautiful and I purchase it because I decide I'm going to take a chance on this book. It's either I'm going to like it and it's going to be a find, or I'm not going to like it but it will look good on my shelf. Chris Cleave's Little Bee is one such book that I bought recently. I still haven't read this book, even though I see that it's a New York Times bestseller that's printed at the top, but it gave no synopsis. All it said on the back was, we don't want to tell you what happens in the story. It's a truly special story and we don't want to spoil it. And I don't know what the book is about. I haven't read any reviews or looked it up or anything, but I bought this book because it was cheap. I liked the cover. I didn't have another book that had this color. And when I do my rainbow shelves, I'd like to have something like this on my shelves. So it really doesn't matter what the book itself is about. I purchased it for the cover and because it would look good on my shelves. Reason number 9 that I buy a book. I'm a self-published author and I get a lot of support from my friends. When I released my book, there were a lot of people who just bought my book. They had no idea what the book was about. They didn't ask for a synopsis or let me read it first. They just purchased the book because they want to support me. And so by paying that forward, I want to support other self-published authors. When I know that someone has self-published their book, I'm always trying to support them. And so when my friends, they have sales on Amazon or they have a book signing or something, I try to go and support them. One such book is Monarchs by Alex Chu. This was a young lady that I met at a book fair and I saw that she was doing something similar to me and I just wanted to support her, so I bought her book. I still haven't read it. It's been several months since I purchased it, but I didn't buy it for the story. I bought it to support her. So that's reason number 9. As someone who's benefited from this, I know that authors really appreciate when we support their ventures like this. Reason number 8, I buy a book because I already own a copy and I have read it and I've enjoyed it, and I'm buying another copy because I want to share it with someone. This is a book that I own. This is a book that I own. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley is a book that I own. I like what the author says in this book, so I went back to the store and I bought another copy because I wanted to share it with my friend. I still haven't given it to him, but this is a book that I bought because I liked it and I want to share it with someone else. So that for me is reason number 8. Reason number 7 for me to buy a book is that there's an author that I really enjoy and I want to read and collect all of their work, and they have a new release out and I go to purchase that. One such author for me is Malcolm Gladwell. This is his book, What the Dog Saw. I've collected all of his books in hardcover, so when I see his last book, I'm gonna purchase it because I collect all of his books. Reason number 6 for me to buy a book applies specifically to nonfiction books. That someone I consider to be an expert in their field has released a brand new book in their field of expertise, and I want to get my hands on that book because it's a subject that I'm interested in, and I want to know what they have to say about it. Recent purchases in that category include Seth Godin's Linchpin. I read his book Purple Cow recently, which was about how to be remarkable. This book is about how to be indispensable, and when I saw it, I picked it up, didn't have any idea what was inside the book, but I consider Seth Godin to be an expert in this field, and so I wanted to see what he had to say on this subject. Another recent purchase in that category is Tony Robbins' Money, Master the Game. This is a 2016 edition of this book. It was printed sometime previously, but when they updated it in 2016, I wanted to get my hands on this copy because I consider Tony Robbins to be an expert in the field of finance. Reason number 5 is inspired by the fact that I watch a lot of Booktube reviews. I read a lot of book reviews on the blogs, and even though I do absorb a lot of that content, absorb a lot of those recommendations, I'm pretty selective about whose recommendations I follow, because even though I watch a lot of other people review books, they don't all have similar tastes to mine. But there are some bloggers and booktubers who, when they give a book a 5-star rating, I know that it's a book that I'm probably going to want to read and will probably enjoy. So when I see them give a book like a 5 or a strong 4-star rating, it motivates me to want to pick up that book myself. And so I make a mental note when I see their reviews that I should look for that book myself. One recent purchase in that category is The Bees by Laline Paul. I saw B from Books with B review this book. I also saw Dee from Brown Girl Dreaming talking about this book. And so it made me want to purchase the book, and look, I did. Reason number 4 for me to buy a book has to do with my own motivations. Usually there are books that I consider to be important. I've heard a lot of people talk about them. They're about a subject that I'm very interested in, and I know I want to read the book. I just find myself putting it off all the time. What I'll do is I'll buy my own copy of the book, so it'll motivate me to read the book at some point, because it's not like I want to buy the book and just have it sit on my shelf for years. I mean, that does happen every now and then, but I figure that when I have the book around me, it's going to be motivation to pick it up. One such recent purchase is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. I started reading this book a couple of years ago from the library, and I stopped because, it was a library book. There was no incentive to keep reading it, so I returned it to the library without having read it. About 2 years later, I went to the bookstore and I saw this copy, and I said, I really want to read this book. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to take it home with me, and at some point, I'm going to read it. Fast forward to April 2017 when there's a Tome Topper Readathon, and this book qualifies, so it pushes me, it inspires me to actually get to this book, and it worked because I just finished reading this book last week. So reason number 4 is that I know I want to read the book at some point, and I know having it around me will make me want to read it, so I buy the book to push myself to do so. Reason number 3 has to do with peer pressure. I am very interested in book awards. I like to know why books are awarded prizes. What makes this book so special? Why is this book better than all the other books that were published in that year, in that time, and so on? So when I find out that a book has been nominated for a prestigious award, or what I consider to be a prestigious award, it makes me want to buy that book. I went to the bookstore and I saw this book, We Need New Names by Novalet Bulawayo. I didn't know what the book was about. I'd never heard of this author before, but I saw that magical line at the top, finalist for the Man Booker Prize, and I plunked down my dollars and purchased this book and took it home with me. Yes, I ended up really enjoying this book, but in the bookstore I had no idea that I would have that experience. So the reason that I purchased this book was just because it had been nominated for the award. Same thing with A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. I saw this in the used bookstore and I bought it. I had no idea what the book was about. I still haven't read it, even though it's on my TBR to read it very soon because it's a part of a challenge that I'm doing. But I just saw this magical little sticker, 2013 Man Booker Prize finalist, and I said, yeah, I want to take that home. For me, just knowing that a book has been nominated or awarded a prize is strong motivation for me to want to read that book. Another book that I purchased recently, which is my current read, is The Luminaries by Elizabeth Catton. She won the Man Booker Prize, so I'm thinking I already had these 2 books which were nominated for the same year, 2013, and this book was also nominated in the same year, but this is a book that won. So if I own these two books, then this book has to be better, right? So for me, reason number 3 is that a panel of people that I consider to be experts about literature, experts about fiction, have said that this book is excellent. This is the best book of this category in this year. And so I say, well, yeah, I believe. Reason number 2 for me to buy a book has to do with patriotism. I'm Jamaican and I'm an author myself, and so I'm always looking to support other authors who are Jamaican or who have Jamaican backgrounds. Recent purchases in this category: A Brief History of 7 Killings by Marlon James. Yes, he also has that magical sticker because he won the Man Booker Prize in 2015. But I haven't bought all the Man Booker Prize awardees. The reason I bought this one, the reason I'm so interested in this book, the reason that I own this book, and it is a beautiful book, but the main reason that I bought this book is because Marlon James is from Jamaica and I want to support him as a fellow Jamaican author. No, if only I could get him to do the same for me. Anyway, another recent purchase in that category is Nicolai Smith, The Sun is Also a Star. Nicolai Smith is also of Jamaican background. Even though she's living in the United States now, I still honor her as a fellow Jamaican author, and so I wanted to support her. Reason number 2 for me is all about kinship and supporting someone with a similar background. And the number one reason that I buy books is that it's something that I have previously read and love and know that I want to own my own copy because I will enjoy rereading it at some point. I want to own it so that I can share it with someone if they need to read it. I just like having books that I enjoy around me. Good, maybe half of the books that I have bought recently fit into this category, but I will give you a couple of examples. One is The Vegetarian by Han Kang, which also has a magical sticker, winner of the Man Booker International Prize in 2016. But I read this one before she was awarded the prize, and I really enjoyed this book. I also enjoyed her other book, Human Acts, which I don't yet have, but I would love to purchase my own copy because I read that one from the library as well. But when I saw this book, I knew that I wanted to own it because I read this and it was a very impactful story. So even if I never reread it, I want to have it around me. So if someone comes to me and asks me, do you have a book that you can lend me, a book that you liked, and this book would match their reading taste, I'm able to lend it to them. Another book that fits that category is A Husband's Secret. Leanne Moriarty is one of my favorite writers. I've read all of the books that she's published for free. I read all of her books for free from the library, but I know that I also want to own some of her books. And so when I saw this one in the store, I picked it up because even though I've already read it, there's no secret what's inside. I knew I wanted to own it because I want to have books around me that I enjoy. So there you have it. Those are my 10 reasons for purchasing books. Let me know in the comments if you share these reasons. What are some of the reasons that you purchase a book even though you could probably read it for free? So thanks for watching my video. We'll talk in the comments, and until next time, happy reading. Bye.